Now, to talk about the resurrection. So, for any of you who have never heard this before, it is the greatest love story of all time. And the best part is that it's true. There is so much evidence proving that Yeshua was here as a person on this earth. Aside from what it says in the Bible, there are scientific documents to prove it. There are other cultures' documents to prove it. The question is, was he trustworthy? Can we rely what he says as fact and be able to trust what he says about the future? So, if you've never heard this before, a little over 2,000 years ago, a baby was born in Bethlehem, and he grew up, and he started his ministry when he was 30. At that point, he made it very clear to everyone that was around him that he was the Son of God. He performed numerous miracles. He raised people from the dead. He healed the sick. He healed the blind. He turned water into wine. He fed thousands of people with very small amounts of food. It just kept multiplying. And he did it all under the glory of the Lord. You know, he continued to say that we should worship God. He continued to give all the glory to his Father who is in heaven, and he asked us to do the same. And he asked us to trust him, to trust what he said. Now, he only had his ministry for 3 years. He was only alive from that point. He died when he was crucified when he was 33. And what I think is so amazing about that is, as he's going around these areas of Israel, going to Jerusalem, to Galilee, to Bethlehem, to all the surrounding areas around there, Capernaum, and etc., he did not fare so well with a lot of people, especially the other, legalist Jews that were during the time. They were considered Pharisees or Sadducees. The Pharisees, for sure, most poignantly had an issue with Yeshua because he claimed to be the Son of God, and he claimed to be equal in the sense of having authority from God to do what he was doing. The Lord gave him instruction, and he carried it out. So, from that perspective, as he carried on with his ministries, he made certain people even more upset with him because they thought he was blaspheming, they thought he was lying. And so it was actually the Jewish community that ended up crucifying Yeshua. It's kind of interesting because as you read in Matthew, Pontius Pilate was the Roman leader at the time, and he was pretty shocked at why the Jews would want to crucify Yeshua. There was actually a second person that had been imprisoned at the same time that they had ended up capturing Yeshua, named Barabbas. He was a prisoner, notorious for doing all kinds of evil, and Pontius gave the Jews a choice. They're like, do you want Barabbas to be set free, or do you want this Yeshua guy who hasn't done anything horrible? All he's done is heal people and share love and show people that through him we can all be together with God when we pass, and which one of these people do you want? And the Jews picked Barabbas to be free and Yeshua to be crucified. So sure enough, they did. They crucified him. Very brutal. It was not a quick and easy execution. It was painstaking. They beat him. They made him carry several hundred pounds worth of cross, several football fields distance to the hill that they ended up putting that cross up on, and it was pretty horrific. If you've ever seen The Passion of the Christ, that is a fraction of what it actually must have been like. But that being said, one thing that Yeshua continued to tell his disciples and continued to tell the people who believed him was that he was going to be crucified, But he was going to be resurrected, and he was going to come back. And so they should not fear, they should not worry. Everything was going to be okay. God had a plan. No need to fret. And so sure enough, that's where we get to this weekend. A lot of people, they consider this Good Friday, the day that Yeshua was crucified. And then 3 days later, if he died on a Friday, then Saturday would be day 2, and then day 3, Sunday, Easter day, would be the day that he resurrected. So that being said, in Matthew chapter 28, this was the moment they knew that, okay, Yeshua was right. He did exactly as he said he was going to do. So now after the Sabbath, toward the dawn of the first day of the week, Mary Magdalene and the other Mary went to see the tomb. And behold, there was a great earthquake, for an angel of the Lord descended from heaven and came back and rolled back the stone and sat on it. His appearance was like lightning, and his clothing white as snow. And for fear of him, the guards trembled and became like dead men. But the angel said to the women, "Do not be afraid, for I know that you seek Yeshua, who was crucified. He is not here, for he has risen, as he said. Come, see the place where he lay. Then go quickly and tell his disciples that he has risen from the dead, and behold, he is going before you to Galilee. There you will see him." And sure enough, as Mary Magdalene and the other Mary ran off to go tell the disciples, Yeshua actually met them on the road and said the same thing. "Hello, greetings. Do not be afraid. Go and tell my brothers to go to Galilee, and there they will see me." Wonderful, wonderful. So anyways, and then in Mark, we have another description of such an event. Mark chapter 16, when the Sabbath was past, Mary Magdalene, Mary the mother of James, and Salome bought spices so they might go and anoint Yeshua. And very early on the first day of the week, when the sun had risen, they went to the tomb. And when they they were saying to one another, "Who will roll away the stone for us from the entrance of the tomb?" And looking away, they saw that the stone had been rolled back. It was very large. And entering the tomb, they saw a young man sitting on the right side, dressed in a white robe, and they were alarmed. And he said to them, "Do not be alarmed. You seek Yeshua of Nazareth, who was crucified. He has risen. He is not here. See the place where they laid him. But go, tell his disciples and Peter that he is going before you to Galilee. There you will see him, just as he told you." And they went out and fled from the tomb, for trembling and astonishment had seized them, and they said nothing to anyone, for they were afraid. And then it continues to go on with another recollection of Yeshua appearing to Mary Magdalene. And so, last but not least, we have Luke 24. Verses 1 through 12. But on the first day of the week, at early dawn, they went to the tomb, taking the spices they had prepared. And they found the stone rolled away from the tomb, but when they went in, they did not find the body of the Lord Yeshua. While they were perplexed about this, behold, 2 men stood by them in dazzling apparel. And as they were frightened and bowed their faces to the ground, the men said to them, Why do you seek the living among the dead? He is not here, but has risen. Remember how he told you while he was still in Galilee, that the Son of Man must be delivered into the hands of sinful men and be crucified on the third day rise. Be crucified and on the third day rise. And they remembered his words, and returning from the tomb, they told all these things to the 11, the disciples, and to all the rest. What I find so interesting about this is 3 different people describing the same event. There are details that vary, not contradictions. One person remembers it being, indicates that it was a specific angel. The other person says there were 2. That's not a contradiction. That's just, as they remember these things, they're writing it from their perspective. But what I find fascinating on that is that out of those three different perspectives. There's a phrase that is used in every single one of them. And with that is, he is not here, but has arisen. So that is one thing that we remember on this weekend, every day, all the time. Yeshua was crucified for us. He died for our sins. He loves us more than we can possibly imagine. He knows who you are. He knows who I am. He's known everyone throughout all of time. And God the Father loved us so much that he was willing to send his son to die for us. And I think that, again, is the greatest love story of all time. There's nothing that tops it. There's nothing that mankind can create to counteract it. And there's nothing we can do to dissolve it. Because even in all of our findings, even in all of our branching out of these different concepts and this, that, and the other, it all points back to him in one way or another. So let's remember that this weekend and always, that Yeshua may have been crucified. Not may, he was crucified. However, he rose, and he is no longer dead. And he is coming back another time. He's coming back soon. Not to scare anyone, just to prepare you to seek out the Lord. He stands at the door and knocks. And to anyone who is willing to trust him, he will absolutely be there for you from now on and forevermore.